Laker fans, welcome to another preview video. We're going to get to Houston here in a second because it's a massive game, Monday night at Crypto with many playoff implications on the line. First, though, we're going to talk about the huge win in Memphis. Memphis was a ginormous win, and considering how the Lakers season have been going the last week, because even though you get the tip-in win against the Pacers, you sit there and look at the Lakers gave up a lot of points in that game, and they deserved to win the game, but they were fortunate to win the game. And then you look at the Bulls game, and that's a loss that a lot of teams might not come back from. It's a loss that still hurts. Not going to sit here and act like it didn't happen, giving up 9 points in 10 seconds. But a team that you're much better than, a team that you've lost to, well, you should be much better than. I guess hats off to the Bulls. They beat them twice in a week. But a team that on paper you're much better than, you blow two games in the span of 5 days to them. And in a tight Western Conference race, you're kind of sitting there going, how the hell does that happen? And then you play a Memphis team. Play a Memphis team that the Lakers and Grizzlies have had a really fun rivalry the last few years. They're teams that don't like each other. John Morant's made that very clear. I know they fired their head coach and Taylor Jenkins on Friday, but at the same time, it's a game where the Lakers have dominated Grizzlies the last few years because Anthony Davis really played well and was able to kind of offset the defensive prowess of a Jaren Jackson Jr. But you're looking at, with the Luka trade, obviously the guard play got better, but it did hurt down low not having a massive rim protector like Anthony Davis, even though Jackson Hayes has set up very, very well. Not having Anthony Davis hurts. And you were wondering in this game, does it flip a little bit? The Lakers are now playing Denver better with Luka Doncic because they have a guard to match Jamal Murray. And then looking at the Grizzlies, do they have enough size to really get after them? And they're huge. I mean, Jay Huff they play three centers, and Jaren Jackson Jr., Jay Huff, and Zach Edey. And the Lakers played well. They were gritty. They got it big in the game. And then the fourth quarter, when they're down 4 heading into it, you're going, the Lakers squandered the lead. They're in Memphis. All the momentum is on Memphis' side. And you're going, is this going to be another loss? It's going to be a really pivotal loss in the Lakers season. But the Lakers really kind of bit down on the mouthpiece in boxing terms and was able to finish the job down the stretch. I mean, the starters are Luka, Reeves, and LeBron combining for 85 points. And my favorite play of the game was when Austin Reeves was fronting Jaren Jackson Jr. and didn't even let a post-entry pass. That's the kind of defense that this Laker team, when they're at their best, they really can be elite. And we saw that in the Denver matchup where the Lakers beat the Nuggets 123-100. I don't mean to keep going back to that matchup, but that defensive game plan was really how the Lakers need to play. Jackson Hayes was everywhere. Jared Vanderbilt was all over Jokic. So was Dorian Finney-Smith. And I think you saw the Lakers kind of get back to that a little bit in this game against the Grizzlies, even though they did give up a lot of points at massive moments in the game. They did get some crucial stops, and hopefully the defense will tighten up a little bit after that. So big win, massive win in the standings. You're up 3-1 on Memphis, but now playing Houston, huge game. Lakers 3 games back of Houston. Houston sitting in that number 2 spot in the Western Conference. They're 9-1 in their last 10. So this team has really been hot recently. It's a very talented team. People haven't really taken them probably as seriously as their record has shown all year. People know that they're a very good team, but there's kind of a caveat. They're not really talked about as a serious Western Conference contender, but they've been playing really well as of recently. Sunday night, they beat Phoenix 148-109. They absolutely beat the crap out of them. Dylan Brooks actually got ejected for getting an altercation with Kevin Durant. He will be playing in the game against the Lakers. He had his 15th tech, so he was one shy away from getting a 1-game suspension. But who knows? Him and LeBron don't get along, so maybe the Lakers get him his 16th. And then Tari Eason rested against Phoenix, so he's looking like he'll be able to go. He comes off the bench for them. And then on the Lakers side of things, everyone's healthy. LeBron got added at the injury report for the groin strain, but still probable, likely going to play. So not a lot of problems there. But as I mentioned, 9-1 in their last 10 games. They're the 4th best defense in the league with a 109.8 defensive rating. They're really good rebounding as well. This is one of the strengths of their team. They have a lot of size. They lead the NBA in rebounds per game at almost 49. They're also best in the offensive rebounding category in the league with about 14.8 rebounds per game offensively. So those are the strengths. They're excellent defensively, and they're excellent on the rebounding on the glass. This is where I think people don't take them as seriously. They're 26th in three-point shooting, and they're 16th in scoring and points per game overall. The Lakers are actually 18th, but again, Luka wasn't there for a lot of that time. The Lakers have a more high-powered offense in this Houston team. But they do what they do well. Again, we're going to see a team like Memphis that is very size oriented, plays a lot of centers, plays kind of an old school 90s style basketball. We're going to see how the Lakers react. But the game against Memphis was probably pretty telling in that sense. Looking at the team specifically, best player on the team is Jalen Green, averages about 22 points a game. Amazing player, was a super high draft pick a few years ago. The Houston, they thought he was going to be a bust. The first couple of years, he wasn't really living up to the hype. And this year has just absolutely exploded. He's kind of been one of the breakout stars in the NBA. Şengün has been tremendous as well. Big, averages about 19 points a game, about 11 rebounds and 5 assists per game. Kind of in the Jokic vein. No, he's not Jokic, but he really plays like that. A real distributor, but can also put it on the ground and go get buckets as well. Şengün has had some really big games against the Lakers before. He's had a couple of games, kind of some coming out parties against the Lakers. Lakers need to keep him under wraps because this team does kind of flow through him. The veteran presence of this team is Dillon Brooks and Fred VanVleet. They round out the point guard and shooting guard spot. VanVleet averages about 15 points a game. Dillon Brooks about 14, but Dillon Brooks really brings that defensive, pesky mindset. We all know he talks a lot of crap. As I mentioned earlier, he got ejected in the game against the Suns. Him and LeBron are not fans of each other, and LeBron usually shows out against Dillon Brooks. So we're excited for all that. And then rounding out the starting lineup, Amen Thompson, Jalen Green, and Şengün are really the three best young bright stars on the team. And VanVleet and Brooks kind of hold it down from a veteran perspective. Amen Thompson, 14 points a game and about 8 rebounds per game. So it's a team that's everyone locks into Ime Udoka's scheme, and it's a team that has really bought in. They're very deep team. But again, I think some of the reserve on how far this team will go is who's taking the last shot in the playoffs, who's taking the last shot into Game 7. And I don't know. Jalen Green's unbelievable, but there's a lot of mouths to feed on this team. And outside of Jalen Green being the number one guy, there's a lot of who's the number 2. Is it Şengün? Is it Thompson? Is it VanVleet even, because he's kind of the veteran presence? I think that goes into why sometimes Houston doesn't get the respect that maybe they deserve. But I do agree that this could be a problem for this team in the playoffs. Coming off the bench, Jabari Smith, another really high draft pick from a few years ago. He averages about 12 points a game, about 7 rebounds. Eason, 12 points off the bench as well. And Fale Dante, about 10 points per game and 9 rebounds per game. Cam Whitmore, young guard, 9 points per game. He's really out there for defense, though. This is why the team is one of the best defensive teams in the entire NBA. Dillon Brooks plays great defense. Cam Whitmore plays great defense. They're big. They got a lot of length in Şengün. And Steven Adams also gets some run. He doesn't have big numbers for them, but it'll be interesting. I think, if I'm guessing what Udoka's going to do, I think he's going to try to do what the Grizzlies were doing and having the whole big lineup, Jaren Jackson Jr., J. Huff, Zach Edey. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to throw Steven Adams and Şengün out there at the same time and let Şengün run the 4 and try to kind of do with what the Bucks did to the Lakers and the Lakers had a lot of problems with. Now, in those two matchups, the Lakers didn't have LeBron and Rui and a lot of pieces, which they do now. But I think they're going to try to put them both out there and try to get Jackson Hayes into foul trouble. It'll be interesting to see how they manage that. Do they go with the small ball lineup when both of them are out there? Do you just sit Jackson Hayes and go full small ball and try to hit threes, or do you try to meet them with Jackson Hayes and drop Rui down or LeBron? It'll be interesting to see how they do this, and it gives me a lot of excitement for this game. I'm feeling a lot better about this matchup than I would have before the Memphis game on Saturday, because the size did worry me heading into the game. I thought that could kind of be a determining factor, but the Lakers really took advantage of that, and I think they're going to be able to on Houston. And then getting the tiebreaker aspect to this. So Houston, as we've been talking about the last couple of weeks of preview videos, Houston is currently 1-0 against the Lakers. So the Lakers will play them on Monday night, and then they will play them on April 11th, one of the last games of the season, both in Los Angeles. So that is a big deal for the Lakers. So if they were to win both games, they would win the tiebreaker over Houston. So Houston's currently 3 games up. But again, if you win both those games, you'll gain 2 games on them. The Lakers are tied with the Nuggets at 2-2 right now in the season, and they won the tiebreaker against Memphis. Even though the Lakers will be playing Golden State on Thursday, they've already won the tiebreaker, even if they lose that game, because they're currently 3-0 against them right now. They have the tiebreaker against the Clippers. So all these teams the Lakers have tiebreakers against, which is a really big deal. Houston is the one right now that they don't, but they can change that. A big win on Monday would go a long way. Could set up a potential showdown for the 2 seed at April 11th if it gets there. But the Lakers got to win on Monday. It's a massive game. Can't afford a letdown. You're coming off a big win, but as we've seen, buzzer beater against the Pacers, buzzer beater loss against the Bulls. Now you get a big win against Memphis. Got to keep it going. Really excited for this one. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. Alan's going to get you guys on the morning show, doing his thing as usual, and then, of course, doing the post-game show at night. As always, hopefully we're talking about a Laker W, and appreciate everybody. Go Lakers.